Fair enough. Well, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insight. I'm going to throw it back to Nick Boy on the couch.
Welcome back. Well done, Destiny, by the way. Excellent game. He said thank you, but you didn't.
I have one problem with that interview. And he brought up the
we all know
2015
what-
series.
yeah, here we go
and
again.
I hate that series. We had to beat Bangkok Titans like 3 times in the group stage because of a stupid remake. I don't want to talk about it.
That was possibly the saddest best of 5 we've ever
I cried.
casted in this room.
That was the only time on broadcast I've actually cried. So thanks very
yeah.
much, Bryce. I cried on broadcast.
That shows you care. I didn't know it was possible for you. At Bicycellus asked, hey, Nick Boy, what is that blue figurine over Ejem's left shoulder, which is now Rusty's left shoulder? Very important. I need to settle a debate.
I'm pretty sure, right? And correct me if I'm wrong if you know. I'm pretty sure that this is pics from Star Guardian Lulu.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that as well.
That's my best guess.
All right. Well, Bicycellus, I hope you had
I don't know what else it
that
could be.
as your answer.
What are their
If not-
options? What are his options that they're arguing about?
I don't know what they're actually arguing about. We'll find out. Let me know. Tweet me and let me know what you're actually arguing about.
You're just looking for cheap impressions. That's
That's all I'm looking for.
That's
I'm
clout farming right there.
You should let me know just by retweeting all of my tweets.
Yeah, all the last 20 tweets. Yep.
So we asked for suggestions for some Australian food for Pyro to eat. We have them. We've got a bunch of suggestions.
Are they good suggestions?
I think there are some good suggestions. There's a couple in here that I very much enjoy.
Okay.
And then an idea for a game that I also very much
Okay.
enjoy. Okay, so moderator Belquin says meat pies. Obs.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, that's a given.
I
But
know
see,
it's
I
boring,
think meat
but-
pie is too broad a category. See, I think an Australian pie is steak, bacon, and cheese.
No, 4 and 20.
They're just trash.
I
they
think
just suck.
I think an Australian pie is those travel pies because it's like
Like the
we've de-
rectangle?
yeah,
instead?
because you go. We've decided that the best thing to eat while we're in a car driving like down the freeway to Newcastle or something is something that is scaldingly hot, and we figured out a way to eat it in a way where it's not just going to drip.
Yep.
That's the most Australian thing I can think of pie related.
I'll accept that.
William Dean's one says fairy bread.
Yeah, that was one that I wrote down as well. Fairy bread's
Banger.
a must.
Can I-
Absolute must.
Can I say something?
Yep.
No.
I hate fairy bread.
I knew
It's just butter on cheap, disgusting white bread. You
Yes.
can't taste the sprinkles.
So what do you not like about this so far? Because I'm kind of confused.
It's I think because I would like, and I'm gonna get so much crap for this in chat. I would like sort of like a rustic fairy bread on good bread. I don't just want like that cheap, squishy. What it just I eat
Wonder
it straight
why.
away.
You're,
yeah,
you're
I don't
that
want
guy. You're gonna go to like a pretentious Melbourneian cafe and order deconstructed fairy bread. It's got a nice char grill on it.
Yeah.
Like the butter isn't on it. You've got to make it yourself.
The butter is a
And that-
cow that they bring out, and I need to churn and milk and all those sorts of things.
To be fair, though,
Please milk before you churn.
No, you shake the cow really fast, and then you just squeeze out a lump.
it's also children's birthdays that you have fairy bread, so you don't need really good bread
necessarily.
and things like that for the most part.
I
What?
remember when I
Because
was a gay bar.
That's when you need to be eating the best, is when you're a child.
Yeah, you're arguing to a daddy. You're going to lose this one.
true.
But when I was playing WoW all the time or like other games, I
Yeah.
would sit there and I was a big fairy bread eater.
Were ya?
Like, yeah, 5-minute break, go get some food. All right, what's in the pantry?
Fairy
Guess
bread.
it's fairy bread.
It's got some 100,000s lying around, the usual.
No one in chat agrees with me, except Dash BB says, I wish Nick would shake me really fast. And I will, buddy. D Neon Lamp says, regardless of what liquid it is, a shoey is a must. Although, if not alcohol, which is understandable for broadcast, then probably disinfect the shoe. So, if obviously it's not going to be alcohol, what would you put in a shoe? That's
Well-
I would say
Well, first things first is Rusty and I do not have optimal shoes for shoeies.
No.
Because we are both rocking NMDs right now.
that is a leaky shoe.
And they are both leaky shoes. I also want to point out that I sent that pair of shoes to like 10 of my friends this week and was like, I'm going to buy these shoes. And then Rusty rocked up in those shoes. And I can no longer buy those shoes. So thank you very much. If anyone's got any other NMDs that I could possibly purchase, please send them my way.
I reckon
They're Ultra Boost, not NMDs.
Yep.
the most Australian thing that isn't alcoholic that you could drink out of a shoe would be a flat white.
That is true. We should make it into a flat white shoey.
I think we should make it into a flat white shoey.
That's a really good idea.
I think that's
the worst
I
way.
think
Another like competitive broadcast that doesn't do League of Legends, but they do other stuff.
Yeah.
It's also in Sydney. Mac, who's one of the commentators on that show,
Yep.
did a sponsored iced coffee shoey.
Sounds like a
which
great
was
idea.
really impressive because like chugging milk
Yeah.
is actually difficult.
That is
And he really he
Smashed it?
polished it.
we are not bringing back the milk challenge. the food coloring.
It's better than the
milk challenge.
cinnamon challenge.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I don't know what
tr-
either of
I
these things
trust
are.
you.
Okay. James Wild says Golden Gate Hunt.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. So, have you heard the
Sure.
story about me at Worlds and Golden Gate Time?
No.
Really quickly.
Did you
Did you
cry?
have one?
No, I said like, oh, this is like the best thing ever. It's like a Golden Gate Time, and everyone just stared at me, and I was like,
Oh,
this is
yeah.
a thing. And then Skyan,
Yeah.
who was an old like drawer,
Yep.
drew a profile picture of me with a Golden Gate Time, and it's still my favorite profile picture ever. Golden Gate Time, best ice cream in the world.
Good ice cream.
Juves the other day had an option between an ice cream and a Golden Gate Time, and chose the other ice cream, and that's why I no longer duo queue with him.
That's why. That was the reason. Pull left says Chinese takeaway. And I like
But
that.
like lemon chicken or like something like that.
yeah.
Can't be proper Chinese.
I
Can't
mean,
get dumplings and stuff.
Although I would argue if it's not even Chinese takeaway, it would probably be Thai.
Yeah.
Or maybe Thai's more a city thing and Chinese takeaway is more a country thing.
yeah, I think it's more suburban.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But yeah, if it was Thai, you get a chicken pad Thai and then, yeah, lemon chicken. Right, Tess M says, I expect Anana to sort of biscuit tin on the coffee table next week, but also Cheesy might scroll, paddle pops. Someone needs to show him how to sip milk through a Choc Teddy biscuit or a Tim Tam.
Tess is
That's
full
a
of
lot
ideas.
of good suggestions.
I reckon.
Yeah.
I reckon we give him the Tim Tam.
Legacy
and he
Esports
drinks
hype
the,
girl, by the way.
Chewy.
He drinks the shoey through a Tim Tam. He
like
drinks it. He drinks the coffee through that. Dank Milk just sent in a picture of a halal snack pack. I would love that.
Yeah.
Do you eat HSPs?
Yeah, they're good.
Okay.
They're
Not all the
disgusting.
time though.
Disgusting.
How are they
Really?
disgusting?
Don't like them. I get them, and I'm like, man, this is a great idea. And every time I finish one, I'm like, that is the worst
Hey,
idea
this
I've
was
had for
such
the
a
last
bad
month.
idea.
It's
like
it's
kebabs.
never a good idea. You never finish it and go, that
It
was
is. It's
great.
like a deconstructed kebab.
Yeah.
It is.
Do
I
you
have
put
one.
chips in your burger?
No.
Do you put chips in your burger?
I put chips in chicken sandwiches.
Okay. That's a
Oh,
Queensland
yeah.
thing.
Like, is
I'll
that a
mess around with
Queensland
that.
Yeah, absolutely. I was having this chat to Loz. Loz was like, I made a chip sandwich. Is that normal? I was like, well, my mum would do it. She's a Queenslander.
Yeah.
So you're a Queenslander.
Oh.
And now another Queenslander is putting chips in sandwiches. So there we go.
Sample size.
Chip sandwich is good. Just chips, butter.
Nah, you need the roast chicken in it.
Oh, yeah, roast chicken's difficult to make, though.
And then the final one from Hispanic ATD. Find the objective worst flavor of Tim Tam, mix it in with some originals or
Mint.
double coat, and then play Tim Tam roulette.
I would argue iced coffee.
Are they bad?
Yeah.
Okay,
Are
I've
you
never
allowed
had
to
it.
say that, given what's on here?
I'm not sponsored by Tim Tams.
Well, iced coffee. I reckon the worst one for me was the Black Forest one.
Oh,
no,
No,
I
that
love
was the worst one.
That
The
was
Turkish
great.
Delight one was good. The Black Forest one. But double coated Tim Tam is the best Tim Tam. It is
Yeah.
better than the
Do you
original
know,
Tim Tam.
do they have cherry ripes elsewhere? Maybe we should give him a cherry ripe.
Cherry ripe's
Cherry ripe's
Australian.
are very
Yeah.
Australian.
Lamingtons.
Lamington also very Australian.
Lamington as well. I can't believe
Pavlova,
Lamington.
also very Australian.
Well, Pavlova-
Be quiet, the New Zealanders.
That Pavlova was a big debate in the chat because everyone was yelling that it's from
Well,
New Zealand.
he's coming to Oceania anyway, because I do love the Kiwis out there. So we will just give him a half Australian Pavlova and half New Zealand Pavlova, and I'll let the people guess
What
at
if we
home
just
which half
serve
is
Australian food out of a chili bin? You know, we can compromise.
a chili bin, an esky.
Yeah, chili
What's
bin.
a chili bin?
That's what they call their eskies. Because they
in New Zealand.
yeah, because esky is just
What
a
is
brand, right?
wrong with that
No,
country?
esky is just a brand.
Yeah, but a chili bin?
Like it's
It's
a cold
pretty
bin.
literal. Like,
It's
but
pretty
bin,
cool.
a bin is a weird word to use for something that
Well,
you
no,
fill
haven't
with
you
food.
been to like places where instead of having an esky, you just like fill a tub up with ice?
Yeah.
I would call that like a bin.
I call that the homemade esky. All right. We're done with the talk about Australian food and chili bins and all
I
the other
can't.
stuff.
No, we can't be.
Why?
He needs to have kangaroo. Kangaroo
I've
is
never had kangaroo.
It's a sustainable meat.
Yep.
It's good for the environment,
Yep.
and it's also a superfood.
Isn't it very tough?
No, you have to cook it
if you
right.
cook it right, it's fine.
I've never had it. I've had
And
crocodile.
also
though.
kangaroo burgers.
Mm.
So what I would recommend is if you get a good kangaroo fillet, and you can mince it up, and then you make a burger, egg on it, pineapple, bit of beetroot,
yeah, that's
bit
Australian.
of cos lettuce, and a real plain white bud. That is Australia.
That's okay.
That's pretty spot on.
Vegas Klein in the chat, and I know I've just butchered your name. I'm sorry, but chili bin it keeps stuff warm too.
No, it doesn't. It's chili.
No.
Yeah, an esky is only cold when you put ice in it.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right,
following
we're
you so
moving on.
far.
We're moving on.
I feel like I would prefer to call that like a reverse esky. Esky has to be cold. Nobody uses an esky for warm.
The opposite is a thermos.
It's just a
Yes.
box.
Yeah. Well, no,
It's
you
just a
can't-
plastic box.
yeah.
It's an unsustainable box.
It's a backpack. All right, it's time to move on. We've got to get on to the next game. We've got AV versus Direwolves. Again, the tips don't matter. Everyone picked AV for this one. Rusty, you feeling good about that?
Absolutely.
Can you
I think
talk us
it's the
through the-
first time we have had that?
Yeah, I think so.
Everyone tipping
Yeah.
AV?
Yeah. I'm excited for the Direwolves win. Can you talk us through the Direwolves lineup, though?
Yes,
Just to
so-
humble you a little bit.
Absolutely, of course. There's 2 coaches behind the Direwolves. Stage coach is going to be Coach Charlie. Biopanther is your top laner. Udisoft in the jungle. Get back in mid lane. Andrew and Corporal, who I can't help but call Corpse every single time, is the bottom lane.
And this is a lineup that has actually had a couple of impressive performances, despite not being able to pick up a victory as of yet. And I think that they continue to build. They're a young lineup. They have multiple times said trust the process. And the process seems to be on an okay track. Like, not a great track. Obviously, you want wins. But so far, I would say pretty good from the Direwolves.
It is moving in a forward direction for certain, and Direwolves are steadily improving.
And then, of course, they are going up against AV, who are... How many games have you won?
With 2-1.
2-1? Yeah, so you're looking for...
First place.
Sorry?
He's looking for equal
If
first
we
place.
win-
I know,
First,
that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. And Direwolves, if Direwolves don't take this, then they are the only team to have not taken a win all OPL. But Jake, if you could talk us through the AV lineup.
Of course, their coach is going to be Kai, head coach Rusty sitting next to me. Chippy's in the top lane. Sybil will be starting today. Swathe back to the bench. Shock in the mid lane. Gunkrab and Aladoric are their bottom lane. And we kind of talked about this, but you know, the next generation of 80 carries coming up, and Gunkrab's had a pretty impressive performance so far, Rusty.
Yeah, I mean, I've had the pleasure of sitting behind Gunkrab a lot during our practice in the lead up to the OPL. And
Creepy, but okay.
I mean, he's playing games and sitting behind him, trying not to be creepy. You can't help it sometimes. Anyway, he does look like a very good mechanical player. He's got the brain for the game and does seem to know always what the best next step is. And it's just molding him into a team player more than just that individual mechanical genius that I didn't know he was until I actually saw some of the tape.
Well, it's a good thing he is an individual mechanical genius because he's also our POV stream on Twitter at OPL. You can check out all the Gunkrab's moves in this match up against Direwolves. And let's get into it by throwing over to Bryce and Benji.
Thank you, Nick Boye. I'm joined once again by Bryce. This is our last game of the week. I'm actually excited for this one.
Yep.
What are your thoughts?
I'm just, like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, what is AV going to pull out now? Like, that's what I'm most excited for. They, like, do they have to against Direwolves? They were just talking about on the couch they're the only team that hasn't got a victory, but AV have played some weird stuff. It was Mordekaiser yesterday. I'm super excited to see if they have just another thing. I have literally no idea what the thing could be, because, like, Mordekaiser was just out of left field completely, and, like, what is going to happen this game? There could be, it could be very standard, and if it goes that way, obviously our tips, like we all predicted AV, they look like the favorites here, but it could be anyone's game.
Absolutely. I'm kind of curious. Good point raised about the shock pick, because yesterday they were playing against a very strong team in the Chiefs, right? Undefeated. It was an uphill battle for them. They were not coming in as favorites. But this game, they are undoubtedly the favorites up against the struggling Direwolves, who are 0-3, yet to get a win. The only team in the league without a win. So do you try something a bit out of place? Do you not save that for a stronger team and play more standard here?
Well,
or Avant got enough up their sleeve they can use something here?
You probably do, right? Like, you probably feel like you don't have to use it against Direwolves. Also, quick note, Australia Day, and we've got a very Australian flaggy shirt there on Coach Kai. So
Wow, that is very
nice job.
strong.
Hell yeah. But I feel like the one thing I want to touch on is the Direwolves, and they sort of hit on the couch, but Andrew on your screen right now, like, this is a team that trust the process is what Jake said. But they were like tweeting after their losses, like, these guys are incredibly motivated. They're talking about how, like, the losses don't get them down. They're super excited to get back into the scrim week and just start improving. So this is a very young squad who is all on the same page. They're all just, like, now in a competitive environment. Biopanther, the only one with experience, really. Udisoft had some time before this split, but they are all just on the same page, all willing to improve together, and it's exciting to see what they can do.
Yeah, let's race through these bands quickly as we got to catch up. Camille, Aurelia, Lucian off the board for Avant, Urgot, Aatrox, Cassiopeia, the 3 most standard red side bands I think in this league so far. Lysandra instant picked. We've seen a bit of priority on her this week. And then as a response, Biopanther has locked in Sion, and then Victor has been picked up either for Get Back or Andrew.
Yeah, so Akali just has not been touched at all. Victor, of course, is going to be a flex pick all over the place. Liss into Sion lock-in is fairly weird. It's obviously just kind of like a blind Sion. Biopanther can play that one, assuming Get Back can do it as well. So kind of an interesting draft already. Some weird priorities across the board.
Absolutely. Zach picked up for Sybil. That's a champion he's very familiar with. Seen him
Absolutely.
fly in very strongly on that one. And then Kaiser picked up for Gunkrab.
Because Sybil's the kind of guy that takes great appreciation out of the small things. He has so much fun playing Zac and like just the sounds he makes, just like the weird noises when he's like flying into the back of a team fight. He's the kind of guy that when you're winning a game would want to do like buy a stopwatch because you're going to win anyway and just like fly through the fountain and be the golden Zac blob just literally in the middle of the air. So I like that, you know.
Alistair picked up
have
the
fun.
Gepper. And then now the question is, right now, if you look at Direwolf's lineup, do you ban the jungle slot because you know they need one? And if not, what are you hitting? The AD carry, the mid lane? Do you touch the top lane? Like, it's a bit all over the place.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you're probably not going to hit the AD carries. The fact that you have picked up the Kai'Sa and Victor can always just go into that bottom side means that, like, you're not necessarily going to go for that. You probably will ban some of the junglers. The Xin Zhao Camille is already gone. Kha'Zix, another one that has already hit the bench. So, makes a lot of sense. Morgana is a very, very, very tough matchup for Alistar. So, third pick, red side alley into Morg ban is quite expected here from the Direwolves. They can get rid of some other options. Thresh is the one they go for, but they have choices like the Rakan, maybe something a bit more standard in like a Gragas counterpick to the Alistar. So there are things for them to worry about.
Lots of options open. Obviously, Avant here need to pick up their support as two bans will be headed that way, as well as a solo laner. Either the top lane or the mid lane, based on where they want to put Lissandra. Xin Zhao, banned out for Avant. Double targeting jungle. Kind of smart. It's the only role you know you're going to hit twice properly. And now it's up to Direwolves. What do you show here?
You expect it to be jungle. They want to hold their flex for as long as possible. Options are still there. Lee Sin, maybe something like the Nocturne. Gragas, I mean, if you want to go that way, but I expect 3 seconds. It will be a jungle lock-in. No. Okay.
Blind Syndra. Well, kind of blind. You don't know if it's into the Lissandra, but it could be.
Yeah.
But now Avant get to answer. They get to see this and go, do we want Lissandra into Syndra, or do we want to try and throw it into Sion?
Because earlier in the day, very first game, 4 p.m, Order versus Gravitas, they showed Zac Lissandra can make a Syndra's life living hell. You know, that can be very difficult to deal with. Direwolves, this means by blinding their mid laner here that they do have counterpick for the jungle. It is Sybil. Sorry, Ubisoft, so like Elise is still an option. Olaf is going to be a lock-in here, so this is a little bit all over the place.
This is all over the place. Can you play Syndra in the bot lane, or is it just a bit too squishy?
I mean, if you're putting a Syndra or a Victor in the bottom lane, I feel like hedging your bets, it's going to be the Victor.
Victor?
Anderu.
I was wondering if there's flex there as well,
Like, I mean, yes, potentially, but
the face you're
I
giving me
feel
right now
like,
tells
I feel
me
like
probably not.
absolutely not. That would be very weird, but Chippy's has been a very long-time Olaf player. It's been a pocket pick of his basically forever since the Direwolf days, so this is going to be a Lissandra in the mid lane, Olaf into the Sion, so Biopanther is going to have a very rough time, and there we go, Jungle Hover. Twitch is probably a troll. Kindred makes a whole lot more sense into the Zac.
Absolutely, is the jungler picking up last pick here for Ubisoft. It is the Kindred, so Braum picked up in the bot lane here for Aladoric as well on the other side, so it's going to be the Kai'Sa Braum lane. Seen a little bit of that, and it's going to be going up against the Victor Alistar, which we've seen a little bit of so far, but it's still a pretty of a fresh lane for me. The rest of the team, of course, we've got the Zac and the Kindred. We've got Lissandra versus the Syndra, and the top lane, it is that Olaf versus the Sion. Fascinating lane. Now, if you want to watch the Kai'Sa play, it is our POV stream. Gunkrab is playing that one. I think it'll be interesting if you're an AD carry player to see how they sort of focus around the map and how they play. Obviously, a lot of the time when you play in this LAN scenario, you do have a lot of comms with your support that you won't get to hear. So that's a little bit unfair. But you'll see a lot of the comm stuff there. You'll see the Aladoric probably scouting around a lot more for him. So Gunkrab probably more focused on the spot lane.
It's interesting to talk about, you expect Victor, when he's in the bottom lane, to go for that TP, goes back like first base and get his upgraded Hex Core and then just wave clear indefinitely. Kai'Sa, in the current landscape, like she could go TP to match, potentially with the Zac ganks early. If Shock can get some freedom in the mid lane, they can look towards the bottom side, so they want to go for more of the heal, the combat summoner, to be able to force, but because it kind of came in with Ezreal, right? Like Ezreal was just the safest AD, he brought in TP, and then anything that matches kind of just, not because you as a Kai'Sa want the TP, it's just you don't want the TP deficit when the other person is going to go for it, but they do go for the combat heavy option here, so AV, hopefully looking to fight.
Absolutely. As we load into the game, you can see the matchups on your screen here. It is a big game for the Direwolves. They don't want to go 0-4. They want to pick up their first win of the split. And if you're Avant, if you win this game, you're tied first at 3-1. That's pretty impressive going after 2 weeks of the game, especially when the two teams you'd be tied with at that point are the Chiefs and Bombers, who are two of the favorites. We are joined here by the coach of Avant Game. It is Kai. Come up here and tell us, how do you think about this draft so far? How's this look? Is this what you wanted coming into this game?
Yes, this is exactly what we wanted. This is a comp we're very comfortable on. We're very used to these team fighters. Sybil excels at playing these champions, getting into the lanes. We have Chippy's on something he can push hard with, sit in that 1-4, which he's done fantastically over his career.
Yeah, so I have a little bit of level 1 here, actually. I want to have a look at this quickly, as we do have them
Bio.
coming around. I think Bio did spot them out, though. Fair enough. Okay, so Chippy's on the Olaf. Is that pre-planned, or was that sort of a reaction to seeing sort of how the Direwolves draft planned out?
We've played this a lot. We're very used to it. Pretty much, I'm not going to reveal exactly what
Sure.
we played into, but it does very well in the matchups. It's extremely hard to kill. And yeah, it just runs you down.
And I want to ask about like your views of the team overall. Like AV, in my eyes, is a team that now you've shown super weird stuff like the Mordekaiser yesterday. This is an Olaf top that we haven't seen for a very long time. Does that kind of broaden your horizons as a coach? Like you have so many weird options in draft. Like does that feel like it opens you up a lot?
I guess to a degree, but it's more we tend to look at, as we're planning teams, planning comps, and planning how we want to play, we look at what champions for what they deliver and what they can do rather than what the meta demands us to do. And in that way, we can make things like this that are extremely hard to predict or know to play against because no one has the experience on it, but it still fills the fundamental role that the lane needs to play.
Because that's also somewhat, in my eyes, I don't know if you agree, like a product of the best of ones. Like you can prepare one thing every week for each team, so it's not like you have to have like multiple comps prepared for one team. But is that sort of where it comes from? And also like just like agree, it makes you guys very, very dangerous when you have the like weird flexibility with a Mordekaiser.
Yes, our aim is not to be easy to be drafted against.
Yeah, yeah, which I think you've already proven you're not. Yeah.
Yes, so like we want to, you have to plan for 2 junglers, and then you have to plan for picks that no one else plays.
Yeah.
And then try to draft against that, which makes things extremely difficult for you.
Yep.
I want to ask one last question, actually. You obviously work with Rusty a lot in the house.
Yep.
How does that work? How's the dynamic work between you two? And what do you each bring to the table when it comes to coaching this team?
Like Rusty and I work great together. Like we both have skill sets that align pretty well. I wouldn't say we technically specialize in anything different to each other. We just both fill the roles. And like Rusty's been great to coach with. I've coached with many people in my career, but we just have great debates and always seem to work it out the way we want to.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for joining us, and best of luck in the game.
Thank you very much, guys.
And Bryce, having a look at this game. Had a little bit of a level 1 sort of thing, but didn't turn
Yeah.
into anything. What's happening in this game so far?
Pre-planned level 1 here from AV. Unfortunately, Biopanther did spot that one out, so they didn't get anything that they were looking for. Because this is, you take a look at the comp. Olaf, incredible level 1. Braum, incredible level 1. I don't think there's any way that they were ever going to contest. So if Biopanther doesn't walk into the river, if he just stayed in the bush instead, these guys trading back and forth, that's fine. If he didn't walk into the river and stayed in the bush, if Braum Q lands or an Axe lands, you are dead. You can flash, but they can always flash follow and proc that passive. So the fact that they didn't get anything, it's not a downside really, it's just an opportunity lost. It means that the Kindred has some freedom up on the map. They were looking for something in the bottom lane as they traded back and forth.
Bit of a sixth sense from Avant there as they do sort of back off that wave. Kindred was hanging around. Time wasted there. In the top lane here, Chippy's on that Olaf versus Biopanther.
Hurts.
Does hurt a lot, but then again, remember when you get Olaf low, he hits pretty hard and fast.
Yep, certainly does. Corrupting Potion stacks are all gone here for Chippy, so unfortunately trade did not go his way. Very early, you saw level 2, landed the Axe all in. Biopanther had to chug through potions of his own. You can see he went for the Inspiration Tree secondary, has the stopwatch to defend against a dive when that one comes online, but also for the Biscuiteer, he recognizes that this will be a difficult lane. Doesn't have the Dematerializer to fight for priority, but just, hold that.
Get back flash
Lands
out of the
it.
way. Stun hits actually going to fall off on this one. Shot gets the CC. Simple looking for something, but they do back out under the turret. Get back lives.
And interestingly, I don't think we saw it on screen, but Cleanse is also just coming back online. So that was burnt very early in the mid lane from Get Back, and now loses the flash. So level 4 Zac is not the strongest gank, but Mana Lysindra very far up against a Lysandra. That's a perfect opportunity, and AV, they capitalize.
Yeah, level 4's not the best gank, but if you get the flash out with it, then when you can come back at level 6, if it's still off on cooldown, maybe make a big play happen rather than waste time.
It's all about the wobbly arm, and that wobbly arm definitely landed. So Summoner has to pay the price.
Probably I love that name for it. Bot lane here, Guncrab got poked out in that earlier trade, and he's still doing okay. But generally when you're trading this bot lane, you don't want to lose the health on your AD. He needs to be stepping forward to get the CS, and look at this. Nice trading from Andrew here.
And this was a matchup they opted into. You saw the Victor somewhat, and Kai'Sa, very low range AD carry.
Here comes
gonna land. Here we go.
he's jumping in from the side. Here comes Zac flying in. Misses completely, but they're going to go for Guncrab. He's low health, he's ignited. He's going to go down first blood. They turn it around for Corporal. That's a kill for Direwolves in a 2v3.
Yeah, Direwolves, they get the 1-for-1. Sybil was coming down here just to give them some relief, right? Like Guncrab wanted to push out this lane. He wanted to get a reset. He is 10 CS already behind the Victor because of these early trades, and he wanted to get that reset off so he could be fine. Unfortunately, Ignite ticking down. Corporal does just enough damage with that Flash Ignite combination. He falls down.
Absolutely. Get back Shock here in the middle lane here. Getting a little bit of poke down onto Shock. Syndra, we spoke about this matchup a little bit earlier today. I think Swiffer actually had a good insight into it. But that Syndra's going to have a lot of poke on Lissandra for a little bit. Hit the skill shots, you can do a lot of pressure.
Here we go.
Ubisoft get caught out, but there we go. Corporal's here as well. It's a 3v3. Sybil looking for something. Andrew jumps forward, but they do disengage.
And this is another one of those Moby Rush Alistar lanes here. Victor, very self-sufficient, so Alistar has a lot of timings where he can be freed up onto the map. Doesn't go for the selfish defensive stack, just wants the move speed. Another pick in the river looking onto Braum.
Syndra kind of floating around that river area. Instead of back and forth. They do back away. Just not much happening there. This Ocean Dragon seems to, or this Crab obviously, but Ocean Dragon and Crab objectives are what we're sort of playing around right now, as a top lane's kind of been like left on an island for a bit.
Yep. And it kind of sucks for Direwolves in this position, losing bottom side control. I know we're very early into this game, but the fact that Shock hit level 6 and Alistar was actually roaming up, because Chippies is always going to have priority on the top side. Now Kindred doesn't really have gank opportunities in bot side. Alistar burnt the flash for a 1-for-1 trade. Kindred isn't going to have the very easy gank setup that an Alistar normally provides. Not to mention, it's very hard to get through this vision control that AV have set up. It's a pink ward just above them on your screen. You can see in the river, there's pink wards around the mid lane, and just vision plus the crab all over the place. So Ubisoft, he's just going to have to track towards top side, but it's going to be very hard to do something up there.
Absolutely. You see him in his own jungle, clearing it out now. Zach is in the Dragon Pit. He's hanging around. He's looking to move in here. He did aggro the Dragon. He's looking for the
bot
reverse gank.
He's behind them. Zach, specific gank path here. E will get him a very long distance, and Alistar is flashless.
Flash on Andrew, though. If he goes for Andrew, he can flash out of the way. But like you said, Corporal is at risk here.
He's going.
Here comes the jump. Who's he going to land on? Comes flying in. Direwolf sends something. They flash out of the way. Ult goes down. That whiffs.
And that looks weird, right? But he has to ulti there. If Corporal is paying attention, that's a pulverize. If you're not unstoppable, like the ulti provides, headbutt back into the turret, all of a sudden you lose your flash. So opportunity cost of the gank is certainly Sybil's ultimate. He shows on the map, Ubisoft with the immediate counter on the other side is going to start taking away as many camps as possible. So Direwolves, they get some response on the other side, but they do have to burn the flash.
That looks, I mean, that was good for Direwolves. They made the engage not work, right? But the thing is, he blew his flash. If they try that again, all he really popped there was his ult, which is already a third off cooldown. So the follow-up there can happen. So Direwolves need to be vigilant in this bot lane so they don't lose more.
Certainly the case. Chippies has been left on complete island on the top side. Wonder how much gold he has in the back pocket, looking for a reset now. Obviously going for that Black Cleaver first. So has enough for a phage, maybe a pink ward to get himself some vision, but BioPanther is certainly weathering the storm very successfully up here. Hasn't been ganked by a Zac, which honestly you expect. Doesn't have the biggest presence in the early game, but this is about 30 seconds left on Syndra's flash, and Sybil was looking around, poking his head into the mid lane.
This is the flash that happened earlier. Obviously, Corporal's rotated down through here. I think the interesting thing about top lane is that Chippies hasn't gotten a big lead against BioPanther. I don't feel like he's been trying to get one either. He's been shoving the lane out. There's been no jungle pressure up there at all from Zac. I think they're content to let this lane play out as it is.
But the interesting thing is he also has burnt TP to get back to lane. So he went back and got himself that Kindle Gem, TP back to lane, and is looking to pressure that one. BioPanther has maintained his, and I don't think, we haven't been looking at the top side much because not much has been happening, but we haven't heard the big gong of the Sion ulti either. So he hasn't even ultied back to lane, to my understanding.
He's walked it back, yeah.
And is just up in CS, honestly, in this counter pick, the Olaf into the Sion. You heard Kai, his confidence in this pick, in this matchup specifically for Chippies. So certainly the most experience of the Direwolves roster and performing well so far.
Yep. I'm optimistic. Chippies is a very smart player. We've seen him play throughout the years, and he's always performed fairly well. Maybe not so much recently, but we're sort of trusting him. Zac here.
Sybil is spotted out on that pink ward. I feel like Shock did just spot that one out. He's whacking away to deny some of that vision. Bot priority is in the favor of AV, as well as mid priority, so the contest on this blue buff is here. Chippies, though, it's just not doing damage.
No, Sion's got
That
himself
sucks.
tabbies.
Yeah, Tabbies, Glacial
And
Shroud,
Glacial Shroud. Yeah, it's a lot of armor there.
Ruby Crystal, and Sustain of the Biscuits, plus the Corrupting Pot. So BioPanther, he's just the tankiest Sion known to man. Maybe
Smart
once he gets towards the Cleaver, has that armor shred and will have kill potential again. But right now, Chippies, he has priority, but he's not being able to do much with it.
Absolutely. Chippy's looking like he's not getting the plays here, but we'll wait until this game plans out. And looking across the map though right now, Direwolves, like if you look on paper, least performing team in the league, but they're holding even with Avant here. So far, the big plays have been attempted and they've been avoided masterfully by both teams.
Yep.
Question is, when is the first play going to happen? Kindred floating around this bot lane. Maybe looking for something. Here comes Alice. They're going in for the big ult. They catch into the player. Here comes the Unisoft come flying in. Sybil's here as well. Corporal's kind of out of position here. He has flashed and ults out. Here we go. Can they turn anything around here? No, they can't. They both disengage.
And AV certainly expend much more resources. It's just the Alistar's flash that they have to use to get themselves the hell out of dodge. TP from Shock as well. Means that Syndra buys himself some time in the mid lane. And AV, they look hard for that play. Nice read from Ubisoft to be there for it so that they can counter, but it's very hard to keep committing onto the Kindred ulti, the Lamb's Respite, through the Alistar. Victor can deal with a wave very easily, so AV commit a lot and get nothing for it.
Absolutely. A bit of CS to be gained there in the mid lane by Syndra. Catches back up. But everything's sort of reset here. Get back here. Looking for some cute little poke, although taking a lot in return here. There is a Lissandra ult, but he has got cleanse as well.
Of course, has the summoner spell advantage, does outrange Syndra, and in the isolated 1v1 is absolutely fine. When Zac comes into the play, it becomes a lot more difficult, but this is just a very slow early game from these teams. You were mentioning, like, Direwolves have had, in their losses, very close games. Yeah. I think it was Mammoth, also the Gravitas loss, were very long, very scrappy, and they held their own very well. So the fact that they are going for a slow early game this game, comp-wise, is absolutely fine. Victor is just an absolute beast late game. Kindred the same. They have a very big front line in the Alistar, in the Scion, so AV's comp is no slouch either, but they certainly have been looking for more of the plays here in the other game.
Absolutely. I'm excited for this league, obviously. I think this split has had the closest gap between first and eighth that I've seen in the OPL in history, right?
Yep.
A lot of these teams had the potential to take games off most other teams. In fact, maybe all teams can beat all other teams. We'll have to see how this league pans out. But this team here, this Direwolves team, are young and they're new to the league and they're growing very quickly, right? This league is 10 weeks long and there are a lot of games, 21 to be played by each team. This team here is going to get better as this split goes on, and I'm excited to see where they can land.
Certainly true. Black Cleaver is now completed here for Chippies on the top side. He keeps doing this. Priority in the top lane, walks in, places a pink ward, gets priority back after his recall once again. Pink ward sees a red buff, and Chippies is like, yoink, that one is absolutely mine. He's going to take that one away, so it feels very nice for the 1v1. Pings are going out on top of his head, so Biopanther certainly knows where Chippies is, but the collapse may just be a little bit too late here.
There are Kindred and Syndra are flying in, but they're not far, they're actually quite far away. Chippies here has got the speed and can ult to run away. He's going to walk that one out, doesn't have to waste anything at all. On the other side, get back, has sort of caught out two members. Shock here, has to back away. Flash goes down, they get it slow.
Okay.
Counter Flash does get him to safety.
Yeah, Flash for Flash is just the trade. Unfortunately for Biopanther, he had to use his ulti to get back to lane, to not lose too much out. Sybil is looking for something though.
Sybil's looking for something. Nice knockback there by Get Back, gets him out. A little bit of return damage onto him. But, you know, we've had 2 kills in this game. Otherwise, it's been pretty even.
Not for lack of trying, though. That was a hard force bottom lane. Ended up in basically nothing, just a summoner burnt. They've been looking for these plays. If Bio had his ulti there, Chippies absolutely would have had to blow Ragnarok or the Flash to get himself out of that situation. So it's not like they're not looking for plays. Biopanther will get a little bit low here. Here he's going.
He's diving, he's going for it, in fact. Here's a lot of damage. Biopanther under turret. Does
have
pop
enough
his
for
stopwatch.
Axe? Oh.
Doesn't have enough for the Axe. Doesn't want to try and hit it, and that is a fairly close trade. But Chippies, without the turret, would destroy him there. This is not looking good for Bio right now.
Kindred is also showing on a ward in the bottom side. You can see right now underneath his portrait, so Chippies is absolutely safe to go for that play. Unfortunately, Stopwatch buys himself time for the auto attack to not be there, but Chippies was barely off enough mana to be able to just claim that kill on the back end, so Biopanther does well to live, but here the Olaf is certainly ramping up. Hits that level 11 mark, has the Black Cleaver, now Tabby's of his own. He has the Shred available, and this might just be the hardest part for Bio.
Absolutely. Double cloth armor picked up for Bio right now. He's like, oh, I need to... Well, he's changed it for a non-magic mantle, actually. That's interesting. But we'll have to see how this plays out.
It's for the boys.
For the boys, for the rest of the team.
There's no way that Bio is ever looking at this lane and being like, yeah, if I get enough items, like, I'm going to win the 1v1. That is just not about it at all. He's got himself the grasp to get himself through the lane as best as possible. It's not a Glacial Augment Scion like we have seen in the past, but Righteous Glory, some defensive stats for the Olaf, just enough, but also for the team fight. He wants to be able to lock down this Lissandra, lock down this Kai'Sa if he ever gets on top of him, so
It's going to make this a bit of a problem. Sybil and Chippies and Gunker, everyone's here. He's in a lot of trouble. Fire Panther getting nuked down onto this turret, and he's going to go down. Sybil does tank it on the way out. He will live, though. He has got his passive. I don't think it pops, though. He's still alive, barely. That gets taken out, and this turret here is in a lot of trouble.
And Bio Zombie Scion tries to clear as much of the wave as possible, but this is a very nice play from AV. 15 minutes, so just a minute and a half after turret plating broke, they immediately flipped the map. Mid priority was there for Shock, and he was floating up as well, and you can see Direwolves, they are answering on the other side of the map, but it's a 1-for-nothing trade. They're going to get the turret late, and AV are just continuing the push.
Absolutely. They get the kill. It's a little bit of an extra icing on this cake that is the top lane. Direwolves do answer with the bot lane. That makes it even as far as objectives, but you can see that gold now starting to creep up slightly. That's 500 gold lead, right? But that turns into an item. They make another one of those plays that starts getting bigger, starts pulling away. Let's see what Direwolves can do here. They are moving down for this dragon.
Getting kind of cheeky with a dragon here.
Oh, they're AoEing it down.
Yeah, is being pinged out. Syndra, of course, can just pick up Scuttle Crab, throw it into the pit. That is very nice, and I like the dragon choice selection, Riot Games. Thank you for the Infernal.
No problem. I set it up earlier in the week.
Very good. Oh, nice one. Like that, Banjo.
Gotta have the Ocean Drake first, mate. Get the laning phase going well.
Yeah, okay.
Belt lane's rotating to the mid here. Looking to push this out. Their base. Their turret is dead in the bot lane. It's like AV are answering with this Rift Herald. So the question is now, it looks like Scion and Olaf rotating to the bot lane. Now it looks like the bot lanes are rotating to the top as Andrew and Corporal make their way to answer this Kai'Sa and Braum.
And we are in one of these situations again where side lane has been broken. Chippies is just now going to be left on his lonesome on the bottom side of the map. Rift Herald, if you're an AV fan, you want to be able to break mid with that. Syndra, we saw in the Gravitas game as well. When she goes into the side lane, a Liss and a Zac can heavily punish you. If you walk the greedy way, like they have engaged from just so far away, it is very difficult to respect it. So Get Back is the one who is kind of just left underneath this mid turret, and with Rift Herald, with the flanks from Liss, with the flanks from Zac, and Chippies with all of his priority, they should be looking to break this mid lane turret.
Absolutely. It is Sybil with the
Here
Rift
he
Herald.
goes.
He's going to go flying in. If he gets a kill here, he can turn this mid turret down. Get
Chooses
back.
not to.
He's waiting. He's waiting. But no, he doesn't pull the trigger there. Get back, just not quite in the right place for him. He's going to go back in the jungle. Go towards top lane, actually. A bit of rotation in the top lane. The jungle is
Shock
coming
under
through.
fire.
Shock way out of position. There's a flash coming through. They do kind of catch him. Kindred does sort of force him away. In fact, they're going to get pissed off here. Here comes Zac flying in. Ubisoft is caught out. They do throw away the Corporal. He's going to get taken out. He's the sacrificial lamb here as AV pick up a kill.
And you can tell what the play is. Corporal was trying to deny the claw from Shock there. Flash headbutt into the wall. Unfortunately, Shock, quick fingers there, gets himself to safety. TP from Chippies does answer and is burnt across the board. Rift Herald here now might just be the play for Sybil, but member advantage, 5 versus 4. He is going to drop it. Stun, goes a little bit wide. Here we go.
We're going to flash and get back, get caught as well. Here comes the Braum. He's going to stun up. He's dead. Blown up by Lysandra. That comes following in. Sybil's a monster. He's going for the Andrew, but he can't quite catch him. Rift Herald has been spawned. They're going to push down this mid turret here. Direwolf's not able to answer.
And no ulti available for the Zac, so no kill potential onto Andrew. Once again, has to respect it with the flash, though. Chippies all this time is just left pushing topside. Now 2 kills under his belt. And Fire Panther just playing underneath his turret. AV winning across the board here, both sides of the map. And now close to 20 minutes. It's 1 minute before the Baron spawn. AV have complete control and look to set up for a very strong mid game.
Those were 2 big plays there. Direwolves tried to make something happen in the top wave there. They tried to get the kill onto Shock so they could turn it into a turret and an objective, but it failed. And then AV turn it around and they make a play mid and it works. And they get 2 big play wins in a row. They're now up 2,000 gold and they have a lot of good tempo moving into this game.
Certainly not the biggest lead we've seen today, or seen in the first 2 weeks in the OPL. We have had a few very rough games, but Direwolves certainly don't have much control right now. Interesting, we've seen a couple of builds on Kindred. I think earlier today we saw Babib with a Stormrazor first. This is obviously the warrior into rapid fire here for Ubisoft, so a few different opinions across the board, maybe different matchups here into the Zac. What's that little bit of extra range? You don't really want to be standing close to an Olaf, close to a Lysandra, because that sounds like very rough time. So, Ubisoft, I respect it.
Absolutely. You see AV now with those turrets down, getting that vision in that top jungle. Looking to make some good rotations. That vision's going to lead to smarter plays from them. That's going to lead to more advantages for them. That's what leads do. You snowball them into more leads.
Ideally. It's very easy to win a game of League of Legends when you're already winning.
Absolutely.
That feels very nice. But to continue the conversation on item builds, this is actually going to be a Righteous Glory Alistar. So you do get 10% CDR. It's not like you rush a Locket and you get absolutely nothing, but in terms of tank stats, it's not the best. Normally you see something like the Zeke, something like the Knight's Vow, but...
Protect the Victor or something.
Yeah, because you get the 12% damage reduction, but it also provides a lot of healing in the case of Knight's Vow, but this is not where you have a traditional 80 carry whose auto attacks are going to be popping off with a Zeke's, but Corporal recognized that his job in this composition for Direwolves, he has to be the one to immediately pull the trigger. Scion engage, if he has a good flank, is very potent, but AV are never just going to let you walk up as Biopanther and just ulti them in the head. It's going to have to be the back of the Alistar. He needs the move speed to try and get himself into a position where he can get onto the Kai'Sa, get onto the Liss, and look for those things. So, interesting choice, but I like it.
If you're playing support and you've got a mage, how do you adjust your itemization?
Well, just Zeke's becomes probably less attractive.
Okay.
It does give you bonuses as a mage, like it gives them extra damage, but probably not as much as if you're buffing up a hyper carry that can abuse it, like a Vayne, like a Kai'Sa, things like that. So it kind of makes sense. You have other options, of course. I feel like Locket Start is coming back into meta somewhat. It's not optimal, because CDR is just king in terms of supports. Like, that is your most useful stat, and that is everything you need, because supports don't get enough gold to get super useful items, and it's all about the utility of it. You just want your CC up more often, but things are happening.
Get back caught out, cleanses out of that one. There's 3 people here. Stopwatch going down. He's trying to buy time for his team to get the Inferno Dragon. He is so dead. He gets taken out. Aladora gets the kill.
Axe
Inferno
lands, though.
taken away. We're going to follow it up on Corporal. Headbutt out. He's going to run in. He's just buying time. He's like, I'm going to die to save my friends. And they will escape here, although Zach's trying to make a play in the top there.
But how much time do they buy? Do AV now have enough control to just run straight towards Baron? Pings are going that way. Andrew did have the TP, but there's no way Direwolves were looking for the fight. They kind of just get the Infernal and run away immediately. Lose a couple of their lives, but Inner Turret is going to be the name of the game here.
This is going to go down very quickly. Are they going to push the base here? Looks like they're going to leave that one. Now, there's a lot of questions. There's not that much vision here in this top jungle for Direwolves. So if they're going to go forward towards Baron, they're going to take it very slow and carefully. That being said, looks like AV are going to get the vision up in that top jungle for now.
Direwolves have an opportunity right now. You expect this to be a full reset out of AV. They're kind of greeding out for camps a little bit. Interesting choice to give the blue buff over to Chippies. Obviously, think that Lysandro's going to go back. He's going to be able to pick up his own. Sybil is going for an exit Krug camp on the other side of the map. So they've actually lost a fair amount of tempo here. And this is what you see. Direwolves have right now as their only way to get Baron vision. You see they're grouping up. Victor is going to be put on the mid wave, but they're trying to contest somewhat. Not being super aggressive here. This is very tentative. They don't want to face check. The engage range of a Liss Zach comp is very scary. But if they can get themselves the crab, which I feel like with a Syndra they should be able to, like so, will provide at least some vision around the pit that won't be clearable from the side of AV.
Absolutely. See AV popping that blue trinket down there to get that vision of Baron. Making sure, we've seen it a couple of times in the OPL where a team will reset that are ahead and the losing team will rush at Baron and take it because there's no vision on it. AV very quickly move into that position just to deny that play.
Because I don't think Direwolves are in desperation Baron territory yet.
No.
There is a 4k gold lead, but they have an Infernal Drake. Their composition doesn't get like mega outscaled. They do have options here. Kindred, Victor, Ali Scion, all of these things are good in the late game. Even Syndra like has one-shot targets in the Kai'Sa. So it's not like all hope is lost. So they're playing with a little bit of respect, but not looking for a desperation Baron start by no means here.
Not yet, at least, obviously. Tempo's slowed down a little bit here as teams have reset. Avant have the advantage in this game. 4k gold, like you mentioned. But the Direwolves don't feel out of it. Yes, right? 5 turrets down for Avant. The next objectives they want to look for is that bot tier 2. And at that point, after that, they're looking at Baron. Maybe looking at the Dragons, they respawn, but it's Baron, really. That's the next objective here that Avant need to get control of.
Yeah, and here is the dangerous part. Direwolves want to contest Zach. Sybil is going.
They're going in, they catch 2.
Gets him.
He's abducted back, he's taking a ton of damage. He dies in an instant. Direwolves are in sorts of trouble. Avant trying to engage. Biopanther TP's in. He couldn't cancel it. He has to ult out as well. Avant get it pick and they're moving to Baron.
And just a greedy use of summoning. You can see the flash is up and available there from Andrew, but he does not pop it, so Zach kidnaps him back into the rest of the team. Bio has to use everything to get himself to safety. It's only one member dead, so a 4v5 contest is still here. Kindred also good at the contest. You can play mind games with Lamb's Respite, but Direwolves, they're looking for it.
They're smartly going through River. They don't want to get caught out by shots. The team in this brush on the right here.
Look at the flank, though.
Yeah, there's a flank on the right side. Biopanther here at the front. AV peel off.
Oh,
for the
gunk
fight.
crab.
Great catch here. Udisoft puts his ult down.
Big combo.
Corporal, big engage. Tons of damage coming down from Direwolves as they try and turn it around, but the money isn't there. AV walking over the Direwolves lineup. Get back is on the left here. He's going to die as well to Chippies. And the last man left, Biopanther, actually Andrew. Turning around. Double kill for Andrew. He came out of nowhere. He's still alive. Here comes Chippies and Sybil. They do get the kill. It is a 2v1. Actually, a lot closer than I thought it would be. But Shock and Sybil are going to clean up Biopanther and get the ace.
And so back and forth between these two teams. Andrew TP out of the base, gets himself back onto the map, and Direwolves hold on for just a little bit longer. Gold lead still heavily in the hands of AV, but they don't get their hands on the Baron.
They won't. Can they get anything from this play, though? Or is it just a reset in the gold advantage?
No, got to be a hard reset. 1 minute on the Dragon, but we're going to take another look. They have options for flank, but this is a Gunkrab special. The huge ulti in the backline. This is a big play out of him. Corporal answers with a huge combo, but this is just all over the place somewhat. Lamb's Respite already burnt. Sion in the backline, as well as, the Olaf is causing an absolute ruckus, but this was much closer than we expected. AV have the tools to force a fight, but it's just in so many different places. If they run front to back, Chippies is going to steamroll over the lineup, but they don't. Unfortunately, scrappy fight is where Direwolves find the opportunity to clean some kills up.
Absolutely. Direwolves get some gold as well there. Was there some shutdowns? I think they got one of Chippies in there. So they're getting something here. Wasn't all bad for Direwolves, but Avant still won the fight. And they're still ahead in this game.
Certainly are. Dragon up in 10 seconds. I'm not sure which one it is, but the fact that AV are actually setting up for that one means I think it's probably a good one. No, Chippies may just be able to solo it, so just going for the Baron control right now. Earth Dragon, definitely useful. It's not a fire, but when setting up around the Baron, Earth definitely feels nice. They're just going to start this one.
Absolutely, got full vision control. They've got the numbers on this top side. Olaf has got TP. He can join the fight if needed.
And Sion doesn't, is the big thing. They know that Biopanther doesn't have the opportunity for this one. Here we go.
They're going to engage on Andrew. They've caught him. They're going to try to duck him back.
Ooh, nice
Stopwatch does get him through it, in fact, but I don't know if it's enough. The team collapse on him. He's going to go down very quickly on the backside here. Biopanther runs in, trying to do a ton of damage. Get back on the front side here. He's caught out as well. The Avant team have collapsed on him. Syndra is dead, and that's 2 dead for Direwolves.
And these fights are just on multiple fronts. Gunkrab literally did not auto-attack because we split off from the rest of his team, but it didn't matter in this case. They find the pick onto Andrew. Very nice stopwatch, buys a little bit of time, but with Chippies landing the TP advantage, AV just have the numbers, and very easy Baron pick up on the back end of it.
Absolutely. That's going to be Baron for Avant. Direwolves are not contesting this one. They will pick up the Mountain Dragon, but not anywhere close to the objective that Avant just got. And they take a big lead in this game, 8,000 gold up.
Consolation prize. Can they end it with this Baron? I feel like with Liz Flash, with Zac Flash, they certainly should be looking to dive this one. Next Dragon is going to be the Mountain as well, but this game may not even get there. Udisoft is definitely playing with fire here. Does he look for the recall? This potentially gets spotted out. There's not really much use of checking that bush. You certainly don't expect there to be a Kindred in the bush if you're the bottom lane of AV, so gets away with it. Was looking for a red buff, didn't find it, and then immediately just scampered back to his base.
Absolutely. After Baron's taken, obviously, you kind of back, you reset, so you have a good 20 seconds where you can kind of move on the map, get the wards down, get the vision, take your jungle, because once this Baron creep starts pushing into your base, you're not leaving your base for a while.
And they don't have good options. They have about maybe a minute and a half on the flash of both their carries, and without those flashes, they are incredibly vulnerable. Udisoft is in the same boat, and Biopanther doesn't have a flash either. Literally every single member of Direwolves.
He's caught. Udisoft flung back into the team. He's dead. And now Avant and Man Up are going to push to this turret.
And he is such a necessary piece of turning around a team fight underneath their turret. Without Lamb's Respite, there is so little options that Andrew and Getback have to try and live here. So Baron up on the bottom lane in here. Do Direwolves just have to sack this one now without a jungler? They have 30 seconds on the clock before he's up and available. Sybil, on the left-hand side of your screen, keep an eye on him. He is going to be the one to pull the trigger on these engages.
They're pushing all 3 lanes, though. Banning creeps everywhere. Not only this turret, but the mid turret is dropping as well. That mid turret is dead. Now the base is cracked. Shock and Chippies have rotated through here. Looking for the inhibitor. They're going to get it down here as get back positions to try and do damage, but that inhibitor is dead. Now they move to the bot lane. Here comes Zac, comes flying in. He doesn't hit anyone, he gets knocked back, in fact. Although Andrew is caught from the backside. Gunkrab goes in, big damage, just picks up Victor. That's 1 dead. Now looking for the rest of the team. Shock himself, ult to slow him down. Corporal's called out, he's going to get burnt down. Direwolves in all sorts of trouble, trying to turn it around with Biopanther and Udisoft, but they're not doing enough. Gunkrab is blowing up that back and front line, and Direwolves are in a disaster.
Certainly are. Underneath the Nexus, Udisoft is barely trying to live. Still has the ulti, but has not cast it. He just falls down. And
that's it. Avant are going to close this game out. Going to kill the Nexus. They're going to move to the top of the table at 3-1 in the OPL.
And that is just not something you expected. Coming into this OPL split, so many people talking about Mammoth, talking about Bombers. They are still up there, but AV certainly making a name for themselves. This was a much more standard game of League of Legends. Olaf, little bit of a curveball, but it's just a Chippy's special counterpick into the Scion that Biopanther so happily blind picked on the top side, but this wasn't a Mordekaiser cheese comp that nobody's seen before. This was standard League of Legends, and AV looked pretty good.
Absolutely. AV looked great. They closed that out. The early part of the game looked close. I think it was about at the 4,000 gold mark. It felt like lead mark for Avant.
Yep.
But they kind of took that and ran with it, but it took them a long time to get to that point.
Yeah, bottom lane, like they had options. There were kills traded back and forth between the bottom lane of the Direwolves and the bottom lane of AV, but it just felt like the Syndra never really had, Get Back never really had options to get open up on the map. The Kindred was just kind of farming and matching as much as possible. Sybil, we talked about, is very at home on the Zac. Stylistically likes the champion, likes the champion's lore, that just has fun and looked pretty good on the pick overall and was crucial to the success of that composition.
Absolutely. Direwolves obviously don't get the win here. Avant do pick it up. Looking ahead for Direwolves though, Bryce, are you seeing improvements in this team? When do you think we're going to start seeing them pick up wins?
Absolutely. I'm unsure of like who their next couple of games is. So I feel like when they next play Legacy, that is probably their best opportunity. I think those two teams have looked the weakest so far. But certainly, like, this wasn't by no means a stomp. They have held up in their losses fairly well. We've talked about time after time that this is a brand new team of entirely rookies almost. Biopanther is the most veteran, and he was literally a rookie last year. But, like, I'm confident that they will build over the course of the split. But honestly, like, a 0-4 start is not all of that unsurprising, but shouldn't be that much of a damper for Direwolves fans.
Absolutely. And Avant as well, like, we did not expect this coming out of them this season.
Yeah,
right?
it's the opposite.
What did you expect? Like, we expected sort of a mid-range team or something?
Like this is a great start of the split. Like, AV fans should definitely be happy. Like, they've pulled out standard games, they've pulled out cheesy Mordekaiser games, they've shown a lot, and what Kai said in the interview is very true. Like, as a coach of another team, they are very hard to draft against because they just have weird things that they can do, and this is just an incredible stuff for them.
Absolutely. Well, to break down that game, let's throw it over to Nick Boy and the other boys.
The other boys are here. We are done for the evening. Well done, Rusty.
Thank you.
That felt, again, as we've seen in the last game, pretty decisive.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the performance from this game. You know, contrasting what we saw, the Mordekaiser pick a bit cheesy perhaps against the likes of Mammoth. This was much more standard.
Oh yeah, top lane Olaf, no cheese whatsoever in this game.
It's Chippies, it's pretty standard. We'll go with that.
I don't think he's played it in like a year and a half. I still think like a couple of little cheesy things there. Want to touch on, before we like break down the Avant side of it, unfortunately for Direwolves, they seemed a little bit more of the same. And like the question was asked, when does the win come? Well, they're playing Mammoth Order next week.
Yeah.
So like, not to jinx my team, but it probably doesn't come there. Like they probably are waiting a couple more weeks. And I think that frustration will start to seep into that gameplay. Because like I've been around teams that have like, you know, good early games but can't piecemeal together. Or their early game sucks, but then they feel their mid game is a little bit better. And at the moment, it seems like they just, as soon as they get to team fights, everything just falls apart for them somehow, and that must be frustrating to deal with. And you guys just team fought like very, very well.
Yeah, absolutely. For Direwolves, I do think that like it gets very hard to see the silver lining and improvements if it comes with defeats every weekend, right? That's definitely something that plays on the mentality. Even Order in the first week, they said it was rough to go home and be 0-2 because that wasn't expected. And like if that were to continue, then you have Direwolves, and that does feel really bad.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on the win. It was a good game for you guys. And before I throw it back for the interview, speaking of good games, you mentioned that you played 2 games of Silas this morning and you're looking for a 5-stack.
It's not the way to segue it of speaking of good games. One of them was horrible. I've tried Silas in 2 roles. Tonight I do plan on playing more League of Legends, more Silas. So if you do actually want to play with me and deal with me being the Silas, I'm Rusty the Caster in League. So go ahead and add me and deal with me feeding.
There you go. One of the winners from tonight. You can go play League with him, and we'll throw over to another winner now, and that's Chippies. He's sitting with Benji.
Thanks, Nick Boy. Here with Chippies. Big winner. You guys have been popping off this year. What's happened?
I don't know, when I came into the team, I saw on like Twitter and stuff, everyone rated us pretty lowly, but I think all my teammates are so good. I don't understand why, because we're beasts, man.
Fair enough. Olaf pick. Go talk about it a little bit. Early on, we were sort of thinking it might be a big pick into Biopanther's Scion. We thought you might be get some solo kills, but you sort of scaled slowly. Tell me more about Olaf and what it is good with in the meta.
So like beats tanks, obviously, right? You just shrug off the CC, but because we had Zac, I can't really push him and dive him and stuff. I just want Sybil to scale up, so I sort of respected Kindred, just didn't want to get behind. So that's why I didn't try to stomp him in lane too hard and then just play for team fights, because I know my team's much better at team fighting. So as long as I don't die like yesterday, the game's pretty easy.
Fair enough. Looking obviously at you guys with your now 3-1, you're at the top of the ladder. Is there a mood in the team house like happy? Are you guys focused? Like, how are you guys reacting to getting all these sort of, I would say, upset wins over teams?
I think the win against Mammoth, really raised morale of the team because we work really hard, but not much results too yet because we lost to Chiefs and we're like 1-1. That's not that good, but I think after this weekend, it'll just motivate everyone to work even harder.
Fair enough. Obviously, you have a big league of a lot of teams. Are there any teams out there that you're sort of looking at going, okay, this is really our competition, this split? Assuming you guys right now at first, like, who are you looking at as being the top contenders in this league right now?
I think Chiefs and Bombers are really, really good right now, but I think Bombers will be a bit harder for us because I think they've got a lot of like really good individual players where Chiefs are a good team, and I feel like we're a good team as well. We just need to keep working hard to catch up to them. But with Bombers, it's like we need to get better at laning ourselves, so I think they'll probably be a bit tougher for us.
Fair enough. Also, Silas coming out right now on live. Have you played the champion at all yet?
No, not yet. I'll play it tonight, G.
You should play it tonight? Keep
Yeah.
up with Rusty a little bit, maybe?
Yeah, maybe not Rusty.
Maybe not Rusty. No, I
Feel
get that
free.
one.
Yeah.
He's laughing in the background, of course. Your team's picking up a lot of these sort of more obscure picks. How deep is this pool? Like, is this it? Or is there like a lot more you guys have left to show? Don't go into details,
You'll
obviously.
see next week, Benji. There's much more. Don't worry.
A lot more.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to that. Good luck in future weeks. You guys have been performing
Thanks.
very well. Hopefully we see more wins from you guys. I'm going to send it back to Nick Boy to close out the night.
That's right. Well done, Chippies, and well done for being part of our Franken Procaso game earlier today. All right,
Enough's enough.
enough's enough.
It's time. Again.
Why did
For
I
Nick
do
Boy.
this? Here's the thing. My tips were solid. My tips were totally solid. I whiffed on the order, but other than that, everything else is fine. But I am the big loser from today.
How can you say your tips were solid with a 50% tip rate?
What I'm saying is, like, on paper, solid tips, except for Gravy Boys was probably a little, after how Order played yesterday, potentially not the greatest choice. But, you know, I feel like that Bombers win should never have, the Bombers loss should never have come. And that was what totally tanked me. But I will take my losing like a man. I'll eat myself a chili. I'm going to take a little one. I don't know if a little one is a
Yeah,
hotter
but they're
one.
pocket
Is that-
rockets, man.
Is that how it works?
Yeah,
I've
little
also
chilies
got
are pocket rockets.
milk didn't work for me. Water doesn't work for me. Water doesn't work for anyone. I'm going yogurt this time to balance everything out. So if we could
He's
get
shaking. He's literally shaking.
if we could get the results from today, please. First up, Order versus Gravitas. Order took that game out. Bombers were
He's eating yogurt already.
it's all the shit. Utterly just-
You haven't even
Destroy
swallowed
me
the
in my
chili
mouth.
and you're eating the yogurt.
Mammoth versus Legacy.
He's cheating.
I'm not sure. It's still burnt. Fine, shut up. Mammoth versus Legacy. Legacy could not come out on top. Mammoth absolutely stomped them, as is wont of that animal. And finally, Avant versus Direwolves. Avant come out with the win, keeping them equal top on the rankings board, because I believe we have a rankings board from the last 2 weeks. Oh my god. Chiefs and Bombers number 1. We've got Chiefs, Bombers, and Avant in position 1. Order coming in at 4, Mammoth 4, Gravitas 4, Legacy coming in at 7, and Direwolves finishing up at 8 with 0 wins. I've got more wins than Direwolves. At least that's something going my way. We're hosting Saria tonight as well, so make sure you check that out. And then also today is the last the last day that we've got Benji casting with us. No, it's his birthday 2 days ago.
Exactly
Yeah.
right. So you guys would have noticed around the kind of studio that we've got some hats. Benji's got a hat on all day. It was his birthday on Thursday, so happy birthday, Benji. I think we got you a card.
I do. I've been having this in front of me all day, so I'll open it on stream. I assume that's the whole point of it. Oh, okay. I don't know if you can read that. I'm fired.
See, mate.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
You're gone. You're gone, skis.
It was nice knowing you, Benji.